What is up? This is Dave from Metal Epidemic, and I'm at the Cathouse in Glasgow with Josh from Cattle Decapitation. How are you doing, sir?
Well, it's been kind of a stressful day, but I'm feeling okay so far. Doing much better.
Doing much better. Good. Finally back in the UK.
Yeah, it's been a few years. I think 2019 was the last time I were over here, and yeah, we're just glad to be back. So
yeah. And you guys, I saw a couple of videos online. You guys just done Bloodstock at the weekend.
Yeah, we did
How did that go?
It was great. It's our first time to that, and we'd been had it talked up to us for many years. And there was actually probably like a Facebook group. It was like Cattle Decapitation for Bloodstock, and then insert year here. Yeah, you know. So we actually met those people, or our singer did. Yeah. So it was cool to finally see that come to fruition, and people were really cool, and this crew was great, and it was a very, very warm day.
Yes, I heard it was
so, like,
very warm,
I have my guitar is a copper top to it.
Okay.
So I, like the actual to the touch, it was like, this is like, yeah. Because you're just, the sun was I think we played it like 10 to 5 in the afternoon, so the sun was at the perfect angle to hit that and to make our tuning all weird. And either way, we did it. People responded well, so all good.
Yeah, good. And now you've arrived to perfect Scottish weather.
Oh, yeah, I would hope for nothing else.
Yeah.
I'm just glad it's not, well, in Fahrenheit, like 95, 100 degrees like it's been.
Yeah.
Well, especially on, mainland and everything. So.
Yeah. And you guys, obviously, your Death Atlas album came out, and then the tour kind of got cut short for obvious reasons. So, is this kind of unfinished business now with Death Atlas? Just kind of getting the final kind of run of that album?
To a certain extent, I think we really wanted to give it its due and be able to promote it as much as possible after having 2 years of not being able to do anything. So it's kind of, we had these grand plans, of course, when it came out leading up to the record, like, okay, here's our, hypothetical tour schedule. And we would have totally done that, and then COVID happened. So here we are. But so we're trying to get, we have this tour, and then we have a tour at the end of the year in the U.S. With Monomarth, Carcass, Obituary. It's probably going to be like the actual last tour for Death Atlas cycle.
Right, okay.
So we're going to play, some of those songs, a little mixture of other stuff. And then our new record should be out in the spring sometime.
Oh, nice.
So then it's full speed ahead with that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was going to ask, obviously you've announced recently that you were back in as a Flatline Audio.
Yes.
For the new album. Is that done and dusted? Is it complete, the actual recording part is done?
Yeah, we are done with it. We turned it in, or approved it, I guess you could say, I think we were done technically July 9th, and maybe the following week was it like, okay, we good, done.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of listened to whatever mixes, there were some slight corrections or requests, and then that was, it's done. Yeah. So label has it, everyone else, the people that need to have it, and they seem to be very pleased, so.
Awesome. That's awesome. And did the whole kind of pandemic thing, did that affect the writing process of the album?
Well, yes and no. We have I don't want to say it's not unique anymore, because bands could be international, everyone lives everywhere. Yeah. But for us, this album was the first album we had written where, up until Anthropocene, everyone was in San Diego.
Yeah.
And then with Death Atlas, Ollie is in Montreal. Okay. And Dave is in Seattle. David moved to Seattle 2016. Okay. So he'd been there for a while. And then with this record, Ollie's in Montreal, Dave's in Seattle, and I'm in Serbia. So I'm living in Eastern Europe now. Yeah. And so it basically had these, Dave and I.
You live over there now?
What's that?
You live there?
Yeah, I will for the next probably 3 weeks to a month, because then I'm in Berlin after that, because we're moving for, long story with that, but we'll be in Berlin, my gal and I. Yeah. Coordinating and getting when's our practice, and then my long commute, 20 hours of traveling back there, and then we'd spend a long, maybe 3 days of just hammering, and over the course of a year and a half, we just once a month did that. So a lot of back and forth, but once again, we say this every record, the past few records especially, how did we actually do this? And this one almost now more than ever, because it was so much people going their own different directions because of dealing with whatever they had to deal with personally, COVID stuff, and whether their living situations and all that. It just was this, how did this record happen? But it did. So once again, I'm sure the next record will be another complicated, something else will happen, but something else will arrive to complicate that. But we've always managed to do it, and everyone's dedicated, so.
Yeah. The Death Atlas was quite a quite a dark album, but still with the usual kind of extreme elements that Cattle Decap have. Tonally, is this album going to be kind of similar to Death Atlas?
It has like for my instrument, what I'm doing, those ambient kind of guitar elements and stuff, that's a lot more realized. There's a ton of layering, like a ton. Like there's a decent amount of the songs where myself and Bella, the other guitar player, we're not doing the same stuff at all. Yeah, we'll lock up on the heavy stuff or like single string, like little machine gun kind of things. But there's a lot of stuff where he's doing a different voicing, and I'm doing something down here, or I'm doing this sort of melodic or ambient part, and he's doing something more busy down here. So it's this call response, weaving in and out kind of element. So for the strings, or at least guitar-wise, that's a little different. Okay. It's a little busier sounding, but not, at least in my mind, not overly techie busy, where it's just like, what was that? It's just a lot more interplay and stuff like that. On the bass guitar end, Ollie does a little more walking around and like really cool, just these really cool like timing elements with the kick drums. It locks up a bunch and a lot of tasty sort of stuff in there. So that's different. Dave continues on with what he's been doing and really puts just a ridiculous performance and a lot of. There's certain, but he basically injured himself to a certain extent, like tracking the record, because it was just do it harder, do it again, you know. So I mean, it's that between Dave Otero and him, just this okay, and getting the takes and the sort of performance out that he wants. Sometimes you have to sacrifice your body. And same thing with Travis. Like he did. If I have to compare it to Death Atlas, I mean, without revealing anything, it's definitely just as melodic, but not in the way that maybe people are expecting.
Oh, okay.
I don't mean to say he's doing like, he's not scatting over the top of anything. Nothing like that, you know. But it's definitely, there's a ton of melody, but there's this counterpoint of like just such insane harshness that it's like, it evens out. Yeah. And musically, like I said, there's the ambient element on the guitar end, but I think overall, the record itself is just way heavier, like chunky low end stuff. There's like a lot more of that going on. Yeah. There's plenty of blasting, don't worry, it's like rip, there's a lot of that. Yeah. But there's a lot more elements, just very rhythmic centric stuff, not just there's a lot of like stop start and like little everyone's locked up on stuff. So that's kind of a little different twist we have. Yeah. So maybe people like it, maybe not, but we're pretty happy with it.
Yeah, awesome. I think that we've noticed over the last few years, a lot of the newer bands and even the kind of veterans of the genre have kind of been pushing themselves, pushing the boundaries, trying to outdo the last thing they did.
So you have to, or why do it? It's always been my opinion. If you're not, you don't have to out tech yourself or out whatever, but whatever I guess if that's what you want, that's fine. Yeah. But just challenge yourself. Yeah. That doesn't have to mean. Things could be harder without being more complicated. You can just try to just make the best songs you can, whatever that means to you and your band. Yeah. That's for us. That's what we just keep trying to do. Like more, you just return to the song. Just more impactful, more just stuff that you can embrace, but still keeping the elements musically that what the band was founded upon. And
obviously you've worked with Dave Otero the last few albums. Was it just a kind of no-brainer that you would work with him again for this one?
Well, he is so insanely comfortable to track with that it's like he's one of those, the magic producer that can get the performance out of you he wants, but without making you want to jump off a bridge. That's more on you or the individual than him putting that on you, but he gets the results, so you can't complain.
No, absolutely not.
We'll complain, but we can't. Just because all we do is complain. So
obviously your kind of duties are more on the kind of guitar side of things, but lyrically the last album was slightly, almost a kind of more poetic in a way. What kind of themes are we covering in this album? Is it similar to the last one?
Death Atlas had that, as you said, you mentioned before, the dark sort of doomsday-ish, kind of element. This one there's still that, but not that same subject matter. It's a lot more personal. Okay. There's a lot of things, there's several things I should say, that happened in individuals' lives in the band during COVID or just right after COVID, just, between albums, and that had a lot more of an impact on the vocal or lyrical content. There's a lot of personal stuff in there, as it relates to friends and other, people. It's just if Death Atlas is that kind of like, oh, here's this big magnum opus, kind of big, expansive, ripper kind of album.
Yeah.
This one, especially because of the lyrical content, is going to be a little more personal, I think. Okay. Just literally personal to Travis's, experiences.
Yeah. So. That sort of thing also often translates into the recording as well. When it's something really personal, you can hear it in a kind of vocal performance.
I'm sure he did mention a couple times, but I'm just going to venture to guess, like, when he was in there, it's like there's a lot of stuff that was kind of not hard to get through, like as far as technique-wise, but just like emotionally intense, you know what I mean? Because he did write extremely personal in a lot of cases.
Okay. And the obviously artwork for Cattle Decap is quite iconic. I'm guessing, did you go with Ben again for this one? Yes.
Yeah. We went with Wes, Ben Scoder, and he did. Everyone has their favorites in the sort of catalog, I guess.
Yeah.
And a couple of us, the newest record, that's their favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's not. It's all I could say is it's back to kind of the style previous, like the sort of digital manipulation photo sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of this he actually created. There's some photo elements, but he created like a centerpiece. I'm not going to get too into it, but he created that himself, like sculpt made it, and it's really cool. It's really just like, oh.
Yeah.
It's not like gory. It's not, I mean, I don't want to like, it's terribly gory, yes, people, it's awful. But no, I mean, it's not beat you over the head brutal death gore or anything, but it's still just extremely unsettling. You're just like,
okay.
Ugh. What is that? I mean, you know what it is. But it's just like, and then as you see the back cover, like almost like gatefold sort of experience.
Okay.
And then read the lyrics and everything. It's like, oh,
Yeah. Okay.
It's like, here's why this central figure is like this, and everything comes together with the theme of the album. And
okay. So. Okay. You're getting me excited now. Get me excited.
Yeah. It's cool. It's really cool. It's really cool.
So you've got obviously tours up till the end of the year, and then the plan for the album is the spring. Did you say?
Yeah. We're done with this in 21st.
Yeah.
A couple more, like London tomorrow, and a couple more fests.
A couple festivals. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Dynamo in Netherlands, and then Motoculture in Brittany, and then we have that tour at the end of the year. The Monomarth thing in the US.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, we really have to do a lot of planning. We're supposed to have a tour in May next year that we've confirmed for.
Right.
But, the record comes out, say, maybe April.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what we're doing between now and I'm sure there'll be some international stuff, like we're trying to go to Australia again.
Oh, nice.
But that's a lot about timing, whether we want to wait further into the cycle to where they've been able to have a record and digest it, as opposed to going before it comes out. That seems kind of like, we're going to do the Death Atlas set again over there, and then, so maybe we'll wait on that. But, there's been talk of doing like maybe a handful of Mexican shows, fly down there and stuff, but I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that's on, aside from Monomarth and then the tour in the spring, a lot of unconfirmed stuff. But we're going to be, once the record comes out, busy.
Yeah. Well, Josh, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. Been a pleasure. Can't wait to see the show, and good luck with the album when it comes out, man.
We'll
thank you.
Best.
Cheers.